Hi, this is Aaron Wilson. We're talking today about new Texans offense coordinator Nick Caley, formerly of the Los Angeles Rams, where he was the tight ends coach and passing game coordinator. Not the first time that he's interviewed with the Texans for offense coordinator. Interviewed previously when DeMeco Ryans was hired as head coach. And now he takes over a pivotal spot on this coaching staff as the play caller. He is a first-time offense coordinator, but he's not an inexperienced coach. He has a long background in football, going back to his student assistant days at John Carroll University, the alma mater of Texans general manager Nick Caley. And you look at his growth as a coach. He's now 42 years old. He's worked at several colleges, including Auburn and Iowa State, and he moves up the ranks and eventually works for the New England Patriots, also overlapping with Nick Caley. And they have a strong relationship, as you would expect. With the Patriots, he coached Rob Gronkowski as their tight ends coach. And Rob was an all-pro, and they won 2 Super Bowls, while Nick was a part of the Bill Belichick staffs that were, one of the more dominant franchises and dynasties in the history of the National Football League. And he was a big part of that. He also coached the fullbacks, and James Devlin was a very tough blocking presence for those good Patriot squads. He goes on to the Los Angeles Rams, working for Sean McVay. For those that don't know, Sean McVay is one of the top offensive minds and strategists in football. He calls the plays, and he gets a lot of input from key assistants like Nick Caley and Mike LaFleur, who is their offense coordinator but doesn't call the play. Sean is the guy, he's the trigger man. But he learned a lot from Sean. And one thing that they do with the Rams is a little bit different with Matthew Stafford. There is a lot of autonomy for the quarterback, a lot of options on every single play to change protections, to change routes, to audible. And so I expect an empowered Texans quarterback, C.J. Stroud, and a good relationship to be formed between Nick Caley and C.J. Stroud. Why Nick Caley? They looked at a lot of coaches. They were strongly considering Gerard Johnson, their quarterback's coach. They looked at Bill Lazor. Ultimately, they felt like it was time for a fresh voice, someone from the outside, and they went external with the hire rather than going internal. They weighed both options. They interviewed lots of guys. They talked to the Green Bay Packers offensive coordinator, Adam Stenavich. They talked to Tampa Bay Buccaneers quarterbacks coach, Thaddeus Lewis. They also talked to Syracuse offensive coordinator, Jeff Nixon, previously with the Carolina Panthers, where he's an interim offense coordinator. They looked at some young up-and-comers like Adinsky from the Vikings, who's an assistant QB's coach. And I think a very bright mind, just the consensus on Adinsky, not quite ready yet at age 29. So they cast a pretty wide net. They also talked to Brian Johnson of the Washington Commanders, their assistant head coach and passing game coordinator. So they looked at a lot of things. They did a thorough search. They could have had Chip Kelly if they'd wanted him. We've discussed that previously. They weren't outbid on Chip Kelly. I think ultimately they hired someone that they felt like had a vision for this offense, someone that has a good offensive mind and that can take this offense to the next level. They need to catch up with this aggressive, dynamic defense whose architect is DeMeco Ryans. You look at where they stand as an offense. There's a lot that, there's a lot of things to fix, but there's also a lot of assets. You've got a Pro Bowl left tackle, Laramie Tunsil, Pro Bowl wide receiver, Nico Collins, Pro Bowl running back, Joe Mixon. You have a quarterback that was named to the Pro Bowl and could have went to the Pro Bowl again this year, was an alternate, opted not to go. I've heard he is going to really lock in this offseason and continue to try to grow as a quarterback heading into his 3rd season. And I think they will get him help. Nick Caley, the aforementioned, the general manager, will try to get offensive linemen in here, receivers. I think tight end's a position they could upgrade or try to coach these guys better. You're going to ask me about the coaching staff. I'll anticipate that. So I've got a lot of questions in the comments and on social media. I expect them to retain assistant offensive line coach Cole Popovich and promote him to offensive line coach. I expect Gerard Johnson to stay in place as QB's coach. I think Ben McDaniels will stay on as receivers coach and passing game coordinator. And I would think Danny Barrett would stay on as running backs coach. Haven't heard anything on Jake Moreland to tell me that he's not going to be back. He is under contract. So the only one they really have is out of contract is Popovich, whose deal is expiring in February. And I would expect Popovich to return for them to work something out. and they were previously colleagues with the Patriots. A lot of another connection there between Popovich and Kayley, who comes to Houston, and I had a lot of chance to make some phone calls. Here's some of the feedback and comments I got from multiple sources around the league about Nick Caley. Smart, innovative, a forward thinker, hard worker, a good high character guy, will be a leader, someone that can bring things together, good in terms of collaborating, listening to others, accepting feedback, and ultimately making decisions. But he'll be a first-timer, and just like Bobby Slowick, it is a leap into the unknown. We don't know what it'll be like in terms of exactly what his philosophy is. What does he believe in? I'm expecting a blend of what they did in New England and what they do with the Rams with Sean McVay. This is a good portender of, how this may go. But you look at Liam Cohen. Liam went from working for the Los Angeles Rams and becoming a first-time play caller in terms of the NFL. He was offense coordinator at Kentucky and called plays. But for him, going to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, did very well with Baker Mayfield, and now he's a head coach. And perhaps that's in the future of Nick Caley, if he does well with the Texans. For now, he's got to roll up his sleeves, dig into this, and get this offense going on the right track. After they regressed last year, I think there is a lot of reason for optimism. I think there's also some reason for some pessimism, because it's hard to fix an offensive line that gave up 54 sacks. But I know they're going to work hard at it. They'll work on some protections. They'll try to marry the protection schemes with the offense and the routes and all the things. I can say this with the Rams. It was more advanced in terms of motion and rub routes and things to isolate Puka Nacua. He's worked with some really good tight ends like Tyler Higbee and Jonnu Smith, and of course the Gronk, Rob Gronkowski. And he gets the Gronk seal of approval. I think that means a lot. So in making some calls today, talking to people about this hire, a lot of people very happy for Nick Caley, and a lot of strong feedback on the new offensive coordinator for the Houston Texans. I want to hear from you guys. Please drop your comments below, and check out my friends at Quick Assist. Quick Assist is the most convenient and trusted source for how to sell your tickets. We'll be talking more and more about Quick Assist, which is a new partner of mine, and just really excited to be getting out the good word for you fans about how you can sell your tickets when you don't want to use them and get maximum value. So check out Quick Assist and support what I'm doing with this YouTube channel, which is fast growing, and I appreciate all the subscribers, all the likes, all the comments, and keep it locked. We're going to have more to come. We're going to be at the NFL Scouting Combine, and we'll get you covered throughout the off season, the draft, the training camp, and of course all the games. So thanks for viewing, and talk to you soon.